Welcome to the Vintage Denim Heat Check. This is the highest selling vintage denim on eBay over the last 2 weeks, now powered by WeBuyOldJeans.com. Let's get into the list. First, I want to start off with a couple of honorable mentions. First, we have this Big E Stay Press Railroad Stripe Psychedelic Bell Bottom. These are really cool. Levi's made a bunch of normal denim bell bottoms. They made some plain Stay Press bell bottoms, but they also produced a bunch of these wild patterns, and these are far more rare and super cool. The pattern on this one is excellent. This is definitely a very psychedelic 60s, 70s type style. Looks like we got the Big E. I'm not sure that these are much older than the early 70s. The Big E oftentimes was used a little bit after the cutoff date we normally give for the Big E in 1971, but these do appear to be from around that time, perhaps just slightly earlier than that. Either way, super cool. These sold for about $300, so pretty cool pair right here. If you ever find any of these bell bottoms in this wild Stay Press fabric, definitely pick them up because they are hard to come by. Then next up we have another pair of bell bottoms, but this time from Wrangler, and this is Peter Max for Wrangler. Peter Max was a psychedelic pop artist, and did a lot of psychedelic pop art in the 60s and 70s. Look at these, super interesting, definitely way off the beaten path for Wrangler. Peter Max patch right here on the pocket and Wrangler on the other. These are, I think, wicked cool. All the different color blocking and different colors, like very, very unique. These did not go for all that much. I think about $250, so really good deal in my opinion. I think these are unique in the world. These are, kind of at the forefront of doing like celebrity collabs. So wicked cool. I don't have a ton of information about this line or their work with Peter Max, but I will in the future because I'm going to look into it a bit closer. But I think these are really wicked cool and super dope. So they definitely would be higher on the list if I had my way. But honorable mention for now, still wicked cool. Now at number 10, we have this Levi's Big E denim. This is the original Type 3 557. Double X in a size 40. The color on this one is fantastic. Still lots of denim indigo life left on this one. We have the patch, a bit fractured, super normal for this. This stuff gets sort of brittle over time and sometimes just falls off. Size 40, good size. These 557s were a bit more cropped like the older Levi's denim jacket blouses. Later on, the 505 would elongate the torso some and give you a more modern profile, slimmer profile. But these, or this particular pair, the 557 is the forerunner in that Type 3 world, and this one did pretty well, went for $12.50. Here we have a really cool one. The 501 always makes the list. It seems like I don't think we have had a week without the 501. Though we do have quite a bit of interesting stuff on this list today, so don't worry, this will still be exciting. Here we have a jerkified leather patch. That's really cool to see. Definitely puts it on the earlier side of the 50s, maybe in the 40s. We have, looks like it's maybe someone's custom label on there, probably for their name. We have the selvage watch pocket there, V-stitch. Let's see what else can we see. Maybe copper button there. Yeah, there's that patch. Beautiful looking. Definitely has some wear. I don't know what the size is. Let's see if they give us the size. Really, they don't give us the size. Approximate size. Oh, maybe they have them in the yeah, there they are. Yeah, so pretty small size, like 29 maybe here, 28. So pretty small size. These would probably have gone much higher if they had a better size and better condition. These went for $1,500 nonetheless. Here's a really fascinating one. We have this vintage Lee Riders store advertising display. This is like the rodeo clown jeans that are way oversized. Lee Riders. I believe when I looked into this and talked to some folks, these looked like they appeared to be coming from the 60s. But look at this. Such an interesting piece. Obviously, no one's going to probably wear these. These are going to be display collectible. And only one person was going after this at this price, but these don't come up very often. We have seen the Levi's versions of these displays out there in the past, but these are hard to come by. I don't know what the actual size is, because do they give us even a measurement? It says like a 50-inch waist, 45 from the top of the pants to the bottom of the pant leg. Really cool, really rare. This one sold for, with only one bid, $1,500 as well. Then we have this 1950s Levi's Denim Family Sanfordized Western shirt. This actually is pretty interesting. Beautiful shirt. Typically, we would assume this would have been from like the Shorthorn line, Levi's Shorthorn Western wear stuff. But it's actually from the Levi's Denim family, which apparently predates that. Probably from the early 50s even. This is a beautiful piece. It does have some defects. Let's work our way down these photos. Yeah, there's some defects. I think that's on the sleeve there. There's like a defect, a little hole right there near the button. A couple holes. So not in the perfect of condition, but something this old, we're not really expecting it to be. A lot of demand for this piece because they do not come up very often. In fact, we've never had one of these pieces on this list. So really cool. A lot of people after it. 29 bids. And after 29 bids, it went for $1,684. At number 6, we have this pair of vintage Levi's 502s, Big E. Here is a really cool pair. We have seen this one pretty often. It looks like I tried to get $7,500 originally for it. Probably not actually expecting that. That's kind of my normal tactic, so they're stealing a page from my book. But here we have the 502, which was a zippered version basically of the 501 in the same vein as the 501Z. There are some differences obviously between the 501Z and the 502. We're not going to probably get into those differences today, but needless to say, these were a mid to late 60s into the early 70s pair, and they may have been a little bit earlier than that. But I do know that at least from the mid 60s on, whereas the 501Z was from before that. Anyway, we see the selvage here. Beautiful pair of jeans, a lot of lemon sort of threads. Let's take a look at some of the interior. Let's see if they show us the interior. We don't have a V-stitch. We don't have hidden rivets. So generally this would put it in the late 60s. Probably like 68, 69 is my expectation. It does have a Talon 42 zipper. Pretty early to see one of those Talon 42s in my experience. But this one went for $1,900 in the end. They didn't get $7,500, but that's no surprise probably to them or to us. But cool pair of jeans, and keep on the lookout for the 502. Now at number 5, here's a really fun one. This is I love seeing this stuff on the list, and we definitely have not seen one of these on the list before, but we have a lot of 2 Lee Denim bib dolls. This is from the probably clothing from the Buddy Lee doll, which was a promotional doll that Lee had been making for a long time, since the 30s, I believe, perhaps even slightly earlier, but at least from the 30s. This is a pair of generally good condition. There's some issues here you can get repaired, but clothing for these dolls, these Buddy Lee dolls, are highly collectible. They are hard to come by. We do have some some seam separation, but we can take care of that. There's some moth holes in these hats, but these are again hard to come by. We've seen them go for like $600 individually, and different conditions. This one has like a canvas duck version here, which is really interesting. But definitely a cool piece. You do not see this every day. These are hard to come by, very collectible. And yes, they in fact went for $2,000. So definitely something you want to keep your eye out next time you're digging through the baby doll clothes. Then at number 4, we have this 1960s Big E 501. This is interesting because it's not really a 501, at least not in the most strictest sense. This does not appear to have a few washes. I think this has quite a bit more than a few washes in my opinion. But we do have, let's take a look at some of the elements. There's a Big E double-sided, off-centered belt loop. We have the V-stitch. We have the Talon zipper. This shows us that this is a 501Z most likely. We have the printing here on the back of the pocket. We have, as I said, the V says 14 as well. And let's see if we have anything else. We have the hidden rivet. So yeah, we're looking at probably a 60s pair of 501Zs. These are a beautiful pair. We see them fairly often. Do notice the sort of sheer amount of zippered 501, the zipper 501 family high on this list this week. I don't know if that's an overall trend or if it's just sort of an outlier here, but this one sold for $21.25 in the end. At number 3, really cool. We do not see these on the list all that often, so it's fun when they do make the list. Here we have the vintage Hercules, obviously union-made denim chore coat. This is really cool. It does have the chin strap, as you can tell here. The chin strap, and that is very popular these days. People love finding this stuff with the chin straps. Obviously a much older piece. This piece looks like it's in pretty good condition. I mean, there's a couple like little pricks and stuff here, but largely like it's hard to find something this old from this era. Those are beautiful Hercules buttons. Hercules was an off-brand from the major big three. I believe it was I want to say it was a Sears line, like Sears Roebuck line, that basically created off-brand stuff for workers, just like some of the bigger denim companies. And so sometimes these off-brands go for more than what the big companies would have produced because they've largely been undervalued and sort of underappreciated, so there's just not as much of them in collectors' hands, I imagine. But this one is beautiful. The chin strap does make it and add some value to it. And there was a lot of demand. There was 30 bids on this, and it, in the end, went for $2,938.88. Incredible sale. So I did say this week was a pretty wild week, and this one is definitely wild. We have the 1930s pre-World War II Lee Union All denim coverall jumpsuits. These are almost impossible. These are just absolutely almost impossible. I don't have a lot of particularly good information on the different elements, but these do not come up very often. And this one looks like it's in actually really good condition, all things considered. Look at those. I mean, all those little cool pockets. Largely intact. Maybe some, obviously some discoloration and stuff. Those big old back pockets there. Again, these do not come up very often, pre-war anything really, but specifically these coveralls you just don't see very often. This is probably some sort of barn find. And check this out. This is really cool. These are all of the items that were in the pockets when they were found. Let's take a look at some of them just for fun here. We have Rinks hybrid corn. So obviously we're looking at a farmer here. We have some match books, Martin and Rent Prospect Hill Garage. Like really cool. And really interesting. It's always fun to find pocket finds and what these people were leaving in their pockets. In the end, though, after 23 bids, this one went for $4,749.99. Incredibly rare find and a beautiful piece of denim history. So congratulations to the buyer and the seller on this one. Really cool. Now, before we get to number 1, do you have vintage denim that you are looking to sell? Maybe you need it appraised, or maybe you just need a little bit more information about the garment you have. Well, we recommend WeBuyOldJeans.com. These guys are the best in the business, in my opinion. They offer the best prices and have the most knowledgeable information and experts at their fingertips, and they offer unmatched service in the industry. So whether you're looking for a free appraisal, maybe you're looking just to offload some denim, or maybe just a little bit of information, WeBuyOldJeans.com is the place for you. And at the number 1 spot was a pair, I don't even want to call them a pair, but a fragment that has been in the social media conversation for a few weeks now. I believe this was a barn find, or a mine find, not a barn find. This would probably be rare in a barn, but a little more common possibility in a mine. But we have the antique 1870s, 1880s. I have it on good information. It's more like 1880s. buckleback scrap. These are very, very old Levi's, almost as old as you can really get them, and has the rare center patch here. Obviously, the buckleback destroyed. These are fragments. This is not anything wearable. This is all about its collectability. These had previously been reported as selling for like $17,000, but that did not end up happening. I do not believe the payment went through. But in the end, these were relisted, and you can see. Let's take a look a little bit closer here. We have those like. Look. Oh, we can't. Can we get closer on those buttons because those are incredible? Let's see if we can get closer. I have actually, interestingly enough, thanks to a friend of mine. I actually own a rivet from a pair of jeans just like this, so pretty awesome. One day I will show that off. Let's get a little bit closer. Look at those buttons with that sort of deep dimple. There are those original early rivets. Absolutely beautiful and incredible Levi's history piece right here. Fantastic. In the end, after 46 bids, this one was finally paid for at $5,350. Congratulations to both buyer and seller. This really is an incredible piece. Love seeing this on the list. Can we get more of it, please?